Melancholy Guy Talks, and right now I'm talking about recovery, living with addiction. In this podcast, I'm sharing my journey through life while being an open, polyamorous African American male living in recovery. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. To learn more about the Melancholy Guy, go to Instagram and click the link in the bio. Also, with the donation of just $1, you can have access to my first series on ethical non-monogamy, the fun stuff that started my podcast journey. See my Patreon page for more info, links in the show notes and in the Instagram bio. So let's talk. Today's date is 4/26, 2020, and I am talking about, and I'm a little caught myself flat-footed. Okay, hold on one second. I have my notes here. And I'm talking about Abstinence is Never Enough, The Dry Drunk, episode 56. This show will consist of three segments: the weekly check in, the discussion topic, and Ask an Addict the question of the week. This is the format that I experienced the many times I was in intensive outpatient treatment, so it seems appropriate now as this show is truly an integral part of my recovery process. Welcome or welcome back. Let's everyone come in, sit down, and let's begin to check in. This week has been a pretty good week for myself. Like I said, I'm still abstinent or I'm still in recovery. It's been 99 days, so I'm definitely in recovery. I've been on my job for specific. I've been on my job definitely no, exactly a month on Monday, and that's going well. And things are I'm moving on a nice clip. I'm not experiencing cravings. I'm not experiencing triggers because I took care of that, and I made sure that. Well, let me say I didn't make sure that. What I did was I put some things in place that I at this time that it's so early in my recovery that I won't have to experience triggers. So that's been going well. I've also I decided I'm going to talk about what I'm getting ready to do. Actually, it's kind of soon and kind of abrupt, I think. But I'm actually moving from this place that I've been at for 6 years. I've been living at home with my folks for like 6 years now, and I set the intention at the beginning of the year, even before I had a job, that I kind of knew that I was going to be moving before this year was done or when the year was done. I kind of thought it would be like 7 to 10 months, but according to the universe, it's gonna be a lot sooner, and that didn't just come about because I'm this great person or I just had this intention, but because I met a friend a long time ago. 5 years ago, I met a friend and who really showed me what friendship was all about. Um, y'all know Kimberly, my anchor partner, and so she was buying a condo, so we kind of decided to live together. I'm gonna be renting from her, so it's all legit and above board. So we're building a life together, and that didn't just come about because I don't think it's coming about because it's convenient or anything like that. It's because we both made a decision that our lives together worked, and it didn't just happen. Like I always say that I don't like dating or I don't like just going out with people, random people. I kind of like to have a friendship first and then see what happens. So even if the romantic relationship doesn't work, we still have a relationship, and that's kind of been like our course, and it's really been great even with the ups and downs. Now, some people might say that this is kind of soon and kind of quick, but it's been like 5 years in the making. We've been really friends for like 5 years and off and on. While it has not been an easy road, I think it's been a pretty consistent road heading towards where we are now, and we'll see. So, actually, I'm moving in at the end of May, and I'll be in our new place, the Zinden. That's what we're calling it. May 1st. No, I'm sorry, June 1st. June 1st, and I probably recording the first episode of the Melancholy Guy talks in the Zen Den the first weekend of June. So that's how my life is moving. But it's only moving in that direction because of recovery. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm working, a program. I'm sticking to it. I'm being consistent and actually doing some work on myself, some work on my recovery. I'm doing work on being a better person. And last week I was talking about when you hear me talk about that, I immediately think about my topic last week when I talked about the pink cloud, and I wanted to just go back to that a little bit because I think I left off a story that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about this movie that I love. It's called the Perfect Storm, and the Perfect Storm kind of reminds me of recovery. And if you don't know anything about this movie with George Clooney, and some guys went out on a boat, and they were like, I think they were crab. It was like they were crabbing. But this was the industrial size. I think there was even a show about the guys that go on these big boats and they do snow crabs. Anyway, so this movie was about that, and they were going out to catch their haul, and the captain George Clooney, he was a little grizzled and had to really get bring in this haul to get the money to keep the boat, all this kind of stuff. So anyway, so they had to go out for a stretch, go a little past where they normally would go to get the catch. They go out and get the catch. The only thing is, all of a sudden there's this storm brewing. They can eat that the storm was brewing, the perfect storm was brewing that they would have to go through the storm in order to get back home in enough time before the ice melted because the freezer broke down, so they didn't have enough ice to pack all the crab they caught, and so they had to go through the storm instead of around the storm. And then right while they were in the storm, they hit the eye of the storm, and it was calm, right? Like it was calm, and to me, that calmness is like the pink cloud. Like me as an addict or anyone as an addict, you will hit those times of like it seems like I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. But then you look a couple days, a day, that same day after you feel I'm good, you can be right back in the storm. And to me, it's like being an addict, and only another addict will feel this. It's like I feel like I'm constantly in a storm. You see what I mean? Like I'm constantly having to be on lookout for a wild wave or a rogue wave or something like that that can knock me off course. And the more I keep myself in shape, and the better that I keep my program tight, I'll be able to weather those storms. So it's like even though I'm happy and I'm go lucky and things are going well and good, I know eventually that I'm gonna get to the other side of that eye of the storm, and it's gonna be what I'm saying, right back in it. So it's like I can feel great every single day, but if I'm not preparing myself and getting ready for the next, what I'm saying, the next issue, the next storm, the next thing that's gonna come, you know, it's just not gonna make it. And then I see now how it's also important, not just for me, for the people in my life, because you know what I mean. Like I never really thought about. It's funny, like I never thought about the people at my job, the things that I went through and things that I did. I used to think about, I was like, oh, they could, whatever, can handle it. All this kind of stuff is on me, but I never thought about I'm putting them through just the bullshit of me not showing up to work and having to put me on, performance plans and all this kind of stuff just to get me to shape up or ship out because I'm just, in this addiction, and I feel bad about some of the ways I treated some of my supervisors, not because anything that they did, is because of how I just let my addiction run roughshod. It's like relationships, the same thing. Like I said before, I felt as though I was a fuckboy in a lot of relationships because I kind of knew that I didn't have my addiction under control, and then I just go in a relationship, fuck up, and then just bounce. And I feel bad about it, but oh well, I'll figure it out on the other end. And I will go into jobs feeling the same exact way. You know what I'm saying? Because I always have a very good record, a pretty good record when I'm at work. Always aggressive, going after new projects and delivering results. But then sometimes I just didn't show up for work, and I would think that was cool, or that was okay, or I'm gonna get my shit together, and all this kind of shit. But people were trying to build something, you know what I mean? And the same with this life now. It's like I have to make sure on a day to day basis that my shit is tight, because once I don't, it'll be a wrap. And so that brings me. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about come out of check in. We're going to the topic of the week, and I want to talk about what happens if what happens, and I've done this many many times. What happens when I just quit drinking? You know what I mean? When I just like said, when I just want to just or stop getting high or whatever. What happens or what is that? There's a term for that. The term is called being a dry drunk, and I'm gonna read a little bit about it as I normally do before I talk about it. But it's like if you kind of think you're an addict or an alcoholic, right? You just didn't. It just doesn't. You just don't. You just aren't that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's reasons behind why you're an alcoholic or an addict. There's like I said the 5 point guide to the cycle of addiction. You have pain, using an addictive agent, temporary anesthesia or distraction, consequences, shame and guilt. Right? That's still there, even though you may have quit your drug of choice or drinking or whatever it is. You still the same thinking that you had before when you were drinking. That doesn't go away, right? The same person that I was 99 days ago, I'm that same person. The same person who I was, forget 99 days ago, 100 days ago, 200 days ago. I'm that same person. You know what I'm saying? Just because I stopped using or I stopped drinking and I'm trying to live a healthy lifestyle, that doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? Like the same, ways that the same person who did things to lose those relationships, to lose those jobs, to waste that money is still here, right? And if I'm not doing the work that I need to do in order to change, right, I'm gonna go back to the same person. But in the meantime, while that's happening, some people do actually quit, but that's called a dry drunk. There's some people who can actually or do actually quit for 2 or 3 years and kind of get themselves together. Kind of they're making it, but they're the same person. And then that term for that person is called a dry drunk, meaning that I'm the same exact asshole that I was when I was using. I just don't use. And like what use? Like that's to me. And to me, that's even more miserable than not going through recovery because you just feel terrible all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I actually get to experience joy because of the work that I have. I actually get to experience Sunday mornings and Sunday afternoons with Kimberly, and we're just sitting around talking about things, and it's a great time because of the work of recovery. And if it wasn't for the work of recovery, um, we would probably be, or I definitely would be arguing, and tripping out about things that would be like nothing. And that's been the course of our relationship for the last 5 years off and on. When even when I wasn't using, I would still had the mind of someone that was using, and I would still be an unstable individual when I'm sober. When I was sober, so let me find what I want to read about. So I just want to say that I just want to read. Someone struggling with dry drunk syndrome may still maintain strained relationship with their loved ones. They still may suffer from unhealthy habits, both internally and externally. In short, while they may have quit drinking or drugging, the individual has yet to deal with the emotional baggage that led them to alcohol or drugs, because alcohol is a drug in the first place. Dry drunk syndrome is more common among individuals who quit their addiction on their own, as they do not have a professional support team to guide them through the difficult change in their life. and I just wanted to read out some signs of a dry drunk, and because I've had these signs, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis. Resentment toward friends and family. That's definitely one that I have to watch out for. Anger and negativity surrounding recovery, depression, anxiety, and fear of relapse. Jealousy of friends who are not struggling with addiction. Now that's something right there that I want to pause on and just talk about for a minute. Jealousy of friends who are not struggling with addiction. That's being my background, which is ethical non-monogamy and swinging and all that kind of stuff and polyamory. The people that I know and love like to party. It's just a thing that they do, and it's like I would definitely feel out of place because I couldn't, or if I tried to, tell people that I'm an addict or an alcoholic, I would feel like I'm making them feel uncomfortable because they can't enjoy themselves, or I would feel like why can't I just live my life like that, or I would not want to tell them that I was an addict or an alcoholic because I didn't want them to feel any different or not want to be with me. So then I would get like a resentment towards them because they're just living their life. You know what I mean? Like they're enjoying going out, having a drink, 2 or 3 drinks, whatever, get drunk and be okay and be able to cut it off. I can't cut it off most of the time. You know what I mean? Like I may get away with it 1 or 2 times, 3 or 4 times, but eventually I'm gonna return to my drug of choice, and then it's gonna be a wrap. You know what I mean? So that jealousy is real. So how do I deal with it now? I guess the way that I deal with it now is that I just accept. I accept like people like Kimberly drinks a little bit, not to excess, never gets drunk or anything like that. But I accept that I enjoy just being around people. That's the thing, right? I had to go back to who I really am and how I really want to live my life, and I really do enjoy being around people, right? I had to go back and find that joy of just talking to people, be they drunk or sober, and not me myself. That's one of the signs that I saw that I was definitely becoming an alcoholic. Was that drinking wasn't something I did with friends. Drinking was what I did. You see what I'm saying? It didn't matter. It was like the afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon. You did everything you had to do for the days. 1, 2 o'clock, we started drinking. You know what I mean? I started drinking, and then that's the day. And then if I had to go out, I went out. If not, that's cool too, because I'm doing exactly what I want to do, whether I'm with friends or not. Right? So I had to get back to the point where drinking is never for me the well now I'm asking it, but I'm saying I had to get to the point that I enjoy being around people and talking to them. But first, I had to become or get back to being an interesting person, being interested in learning about people, and it's still a work in progress. So that's how I've got over, or I'm getting over, that part of what I'm dealing with, and that's to me what recovery is. Recovery is learning to live life without resentment or jealousy, learning to get back in touch with yourself, your spiritual self, and then become, the person that you either really want to be or used to be or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and read some more. Romanticizing the drinking days. I used to have a ton of stories, and I still, sometimes I still talk about my stories. Some of them and I catch myself. I think I caught myself this weekend talking about. Yeah, I was telling Kimberly this weekend about how I was talking about the car when I was driving for a lift, and I was saying, "Oh, I had a blast." You know what I'm saying? This summer when I had the car, and I'm like, "I had a blast." Nigga, you almost died like many times. Like, why would you even say? Excuse me for what I just said. But why would you even say anything like that? Like, why would it? You know what I'm saying? I just caught myself. And I really wasn't saying that I had a blast because I only went on like one date. I wasn't saying it, but it was a certain freedom that I had when I had the car because I hadn't owned one in a while. A certain freedom, but what I went through was not a blast. I was romanticizing it in my head, and that was definitely a sign that I had more work to do. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta, like I said, as a recovering addict, you're still an addict, and you still work that you like have to do every day. So I have to really think about why I still romanticize that. Why do I still think that was a blast in any turn, in any time? The way that whole situation came about, that I was driving for Lyft, it was just tragic from the day one to the day last, and it was not a blast at all. I have to stop looking at it as if it were a blast, because if I'm romanticizing it in my head, that means that I'm looking for it again. You know what I'm saying? I could want to get back to that as a blast. And I'm thinking about it now. Some of it may be due to this current situation that we're in now, COVID and Corona, because it was like I would say like it's such a strange time to be going through recovery now and getting your life together. And because of there's a double edged sword. Like, because of Corona and COVID, I can't really get out in the street and do anything with different groups of people and stuff like that, and travel, because we were not only were moving, we were planning some trips and stuff like that. But I can't. You know what I'm saying? You just can't. I'm on lockdown. So your mind races back to a time where you were outside, and so it may be some of the residual or some of the effects of the current situation that I said that or felt that way, um, because when you go outside driving now, it's not that fun. You have to go to the store. It's not really fun. Putting on the mask, and just having to always be aware of your surroundings, who's around you, making sure no one's breathing on you, all that stuff, and wondering when this is going to be over. So some of it may be from that. So, but I'm still gonna have to really look at why I said that, and making sure that I'm not romanticizing um, anything that happened from my past, because it wasn't a blast. Um, being self obsessed. Um, that's selfishness. That's definitely something that addicts show. There's definitely signs of selfishness in addiction, and addicts do suffer from selfishness. All about me, especially when you're using, and then when you aren't using. One thing I always say, like I used to say this. I used to say this about, because I'm not a pro. I work my program, but I'm not a 12 stepper. I incorporate the 12 steps into my life and recovery in my life. I attend online meetings. But one thing I always say, like, there's more ways to get drunk. I've met people who supposedly were, gotten over crack addiction, gotten over heroin addiction, stopped drinking, and were living supposedly better lives. But you know what I'm saying? I can always tell something was a little bit wrong. Kind of like a dry drunk. Like, you're living a good life, but doing some shady shit. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff still goes on. And it's like, is that the life that I want? It's good for them. I'm not knocking anyone's recovery. Work your thing. Do what you got to do to be recovered. That's one of the issues that I have with any type of program that's dogmatic. Because yes, NAA works, but it's not the only way. There's no one way for there's no one way that's gonna save everyone. Because if there was, everyone would be saved. Because the way is there. Just follow behind the. If everybody followed behind Bill, the guy who one of the guys who founded NAA, then everybody would just be recovered. You would just recover. So obviously everyone can't or don't. So there has to be more than one way. And but the important thing is that you find your way and work your program. I can't stress that enough. You have to work a program. You have to have um, a way things that you're doing to get back in touch with your life. Period. For me, there's no other way. Eventually, you'll just go back to using and be miserable again. And then the last point is replacing the addiction with a new vice: sex, food, internet use. And that to me is like, I've always said I'm a Russell Brand. Say like everyone's addiction, everybody's on a scale to some type of addiction. I just finished reading the book Recovery by Russell Brand, and I do think that, I mean, to me, everyone's I don't think everyone's on the scale. Some healthy, very healthy people out here who have no addiction at all. But for a vast majority of us out here, we're struggling with something to cover up some pain that we aren't able to deal with, that we don't even know. It could be work, sex, gaming, porn, social media, anything that you're using to obsess, to not face some feelings in your life. So, as an addict, that's definitely a sign that I have to, watch out for. That I'm not, delving into something else. And again, I'm busy with work, and I'm busy with work, and I'm trying to, like, establish myself back in my career and things like that. Plus, doing this podcast, and now moving, and I'm just busy, so I don't have any time to waste on another vice. But still, I know that at any point it could just come back up. All right, so dry drunk is definitely a real thing. Um, it's not a healthy thing. It's definitely just like I said, abstinence for. And I'm not. Can I hate to be dogmatic about anything, but to me, abstinence is just not enough. For anyone that's trying to recover, it's definitely not enough for me because I've tried it before, and I've been miserable, stone cold sober, and it's not gonna work for me now. So work my program and keep that moving. All right, with that, I'm going to go over to my next segment, which is now going to be Ask an Addict. So I post a question every week um, I post a make a post on Instagram every week about Ask an Addict, and you can ask me a question, and I'll answer it on the air, or I'll answer it privately if you DM me. But if I don't have a question from there, which I haven't gotten one yet, one day hopefully I will. Um, well, Kimberly asked me when I take a question from her, which I said sure. So hopefully, maybe she'll give me a question. But my ask an addict question of the week is: do you guys? And this is someone asking in one of the groups that I belong to on social media. Do you guys believe in a functioning addict? And the question, of course, I believe in a functioning addict. Of course, I believe that I believe that any addict and every addict will function on some level. I don't know, but I believe addiction to me, addiction is dysfunctional. But the term functioning addict, yeah, man, you could definitely work yourself um, to death. You definitely can work yourself or whatever to supply your addiction, to keep your addiction. Your addiction will keep you alive long enough to feed it. You know what I mean? Like you can go to work every day, drink every day, be drunk every day, and still go to work and still make it, but still be drunk and miserable, and then die. If that's what your life, that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely lose relationships, lose jobs, and still be an addict. You know what I'm saying? What's the definition of a functioning? Like, what's your definition of functioning? Um, Paying for your own liquor, your own drugs, that's functioning. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I consider myself a functioning addict for a long time. Um, until it wasn't functioning anymore. I do believe that for me, my belief is that the disease of addiction is progressive. It's not gonna just you're not gonna just stay where you are, right? It's gonna become worse and worse because basically you're gonna build up tolerances, and you're gonna need more and more, and then but then as you as you go through, as you as you realize the damage in your life, as your life is damaged more and more, you're gonna want to use more and more because of the pain. Because basically, addiction starts with pain, right? Something in your life that you're trying to compensate for. You find something that always makes you feel good, and you keep using it. You use that to feel good. You use a substance to predict how you want to feel. I want to feel good. Therefore, I drink, I smoke, I get high, right? I feel good. Addiction is I have to feel good. I have to use this. Um, and you don't know why. It gets to a point that you don't know why. You just keep doing it. Now, is that functional? Yeah, you can be functional and go to work every day, but eventually you're going to die. I mean, death is that's the, in NA we always say that, or I'm sorry, in the rooms they always say that there's three outcomes: jail, institution, or death. That's it. I believe that wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the road, if you are an addict and you have an addiction, you're going to end up in jail, in an institution, a crazy home, or dead. We're all going to end up dead, but you're going to end up prematurely dead. And here's the point. Here's the whole point, the important point. Things are dying in your life every single day. Opportunities, relationships, money, things are just dying. You know what I'm saying? Brain cells, shit's just dying in your life, man. So you know, take it like that. Functioning addict, sure. I would probably say, do you know any? Is it possible? Is it possible to be a better question to me? Would be, is it possible to be a happy functioning addict? I would definitely say no to that question. Um, Happy when they're drunk, happy when they're high, but other than that, after that, no. It just gets worse and worse. Um, every time I've quit, my biggest fear now is picking back up again because one thing I'm living this show and have this record out here, but then just me having to deal with the shame and guilt of it is will be dramatic, and so that keeps me going, working harder and harder every day. Not only for that though, because I'm enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the storm, but my boat is strong. You see what I'm saying? My foundation is strong, stronger than it's ever been before. And that's a good thing. And I'm going to leave it right there. And I'm going to take a moment for the still suffering addict, as I always do. If you found this podcast listening to me, just know that you don't have to use one day at a time. It's your choice. It may not feel like your choice. I definitely know that. But it's up to you to realize that your life is fucked up. In the words of Russell Brand, I like that first step. You know what I'm saying? Is your life fucked? And if you say yes, my life is fucked, then you can turn it around. Um, through if you find the right program and the right people to help you, but you gotta really want to, and you could do it one day at a time. That's how I've been doing it. All right. So, also, if you have any questions about living with recovery or just need someone to talk to, drop me a line at cpiercejr@gmail.com. If you want to ask a question of an addict, just find me on Instagram, the Melancholy Guy, and I'll answer it either through the DM or I'll hit you on or hit you hit the or answer the question online on the show next week. So I'm gonna leave it there. And as usual, always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself. Peace and namaste.